Been chosen to fight at White Collar on June the 6th. I'm going to fight a German guy, and it's going to be filmed for German TV, and do you still want to do it? And I said, okay. You feel like a god, honestly. You feel like there's 700 people in this room, and 698 of you couldn't get in the ring. Never really addressed why I was overweight, and so my weight started to come back on again. And of course it did, because I was, clinically probably depressed with everything that was going on and all the stresses that were around me at that time. Alex, my wife, was very clear. She said, you have 6 months. You need to break even in 6 months. Otherwise... In the gym, I'd seen a poster for a white collar boxing event that was going to happen. This was Tuesday, June the 4th, by the way. Tuesday, February the 4th. And there was a white collar event happening on Friday, June the 6th. So 4 months later.
Okay.
So I contacted them and said, hey, I want to do it. And they said, okay, what weight? And I said, 84 kilos. And they called me back a few days later. I was driving into Burger King on Jagside Road near the Media City. And I got this call, didn't recognize the number. And it was a guy called John Mayer Wilson. He said, hey, this is John from Transguard, used to do this event. He said, you've been chosen to fight at White Collar on June the 6th. You're going to fight a German guy, and it's going to be filmed for German TV, and do you still want to do it? And I said, okay. So I put the phone down and didn't go into Burger King. I just turned around and went home, and then that was it. At that point, in the way that I do most of the things that I put my mind to, I just leaned in, got myself a nutritionist, got myself a fitness PT, and then trained hard in the boxing gym. 6 a.m., 6 p.m. every single day except Friday. I gave myself Friday off, but 6 a.m., 6 p.m. every day. Lost the weight quite quickly, learned to box, and I was so scared. You're putting your ego on the line. That's what it is. Because the person across the ring from you is the same weight as you, the same experience as you, semi-naked in front of their friends and their family and their peers and their clients, however it might be. So the only thing that's different is in your head, right? The only thing that drives the wedge between both of you is who can handle all of that pressure better. And there was no way on earth. The guy could have been bigger and stronger and everything, but there was no way he was going to beat me in terms of strength of mind. So I went into it, and it was fun. 600, 700 people at the Habitat Grand Ballroom in the marina, black tie, and then that was it. I was hooked, and I carried on, and then I tried to buy a boxing gym.
After, once you, because this was a great achievement. You going in there and fighting itself, right? Because when you signed up for it, you were 123.
Yeah.
And you signed up for 84 kilos.
Yes. How's that for an ego? How did I feel? I felt, you feel like a god, honestly. You feel like there's 700 people in this room, and 698 of you couldn't get in the ring. But me and him did. Yeah. And you feel amazing because of that. And the adrenaline is pumping, and you feel amazing. But like I said earlier, off microphone, there's fleeting. The reason I was overweight, there were reasons why I was overweight. And I chose to spend 3-4 months of my life to lose that weight and pick up a sport and have a fight in a ring in front of these people that I knew. But it never really addressed why I was overweight. And so my weight started to come back on again. And of course it did, because I was, clinically probably depressed with everything that was going on, and all the stresses that were around me at that time were driving my really bad behaviors. And so I yo-yoed. Luckily, I loved boxing, and so I just kept training. And I never went up to 123 kilos, but you touch 100 every now and again. And I tried to buy a boxing gym here. That didn't work out. And then when we were in Singapore, after the second year, we sold the Living Social business again. My wife at the time was working for American Express in a very senior role. And I thought I could just sit at home for a while, just enjoy life for a few months, 6 months, 12 months, forever, I don't know. And she felt that would be an inappropriate use of my time. So She said, you should open a boxing gym. Do what you want to do. And I said, I want to open a boxing gym. She said, well, just open a boxing gym. And at the time I was commuting from the East Coast where we were living into the CBD to train every day. So I thought, why don't I just open one around the corner from me? And what I did, at the same time, I'd invested a little money in a business in Australia. And so I was commuting between Singapore and Australia most weekends. And I was in Sydney Airport moaning on the phone to her late at night about the rubbish hotel they booked me into. And she said, I don't care. You book your own hotel. She's like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I need to go to sleep. All you're doing is whining about a hotel room. Just don't do that. Then do what you want to do. So I said, okay. So I created a fake Facebook page for a boxing gym on the East Coast of Singapore called East Coast Boxing. And I went on Google and I got loads of photos of very pretty boys and girls boxing with no sweat on them, but just boxing. And and then I used that fake Facebook page to create a Facebook advert that said opening soon, East Coast Boxing, East Coast Singapore, like if you'd like to hear more. And then I put a 5K circle around where we lived on the East Coast. And I put $20 a day for 7 days advertising against it. And this was by 1 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, right, after the 7 days, if I get 100 likes, I'll convert 50 of them to be members. And they'll pay me a number. And then that will allow me to have a gym around the corner from my house that somebody else has paid for. So
those 50 members will pay enough to...
That's it. I mean, it was on a piece of the notepad you get in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Cheap hotel room and therefore cheap notepad. It's on there. I just wrote it down. It's like, 50 times 200 is 10,000. That's probably it.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? I woke up to 100 likes.
Wow.
And then by the time I'd landed back in Singapore, it was like 250. So being the cheap northerner that I am, I stopped the advertising because I thought I've proved my point now.
Yeah.
And then I just teased that page over and looking for a location. Can you guess where it is? I had no location. And I spent the next few weeks trying to find a place. Found one around the corner from the house. We're pleased to announce this is the location. Now we're going to change the name. Don't really love it. And I knew I wanted to call it Spartans Boxing. So I thought, let's just have a competition and name the gym, and we get 6 months membership. And then somebody said Spartans. And there you go. I knew it was going to be Spartans. He just happened to look out. And then beginning of October, we opened the first Spartans, literally around the corner. And the number wasn't 50. The number was 90. Okay. So 90 members broke us even. Alex, my wife, was very clear. She said, you have 6 months. You need to break even in 6 months. Otherwise, you have to promise me you'll close it. It can't just be a passion play. We broke even in under 4 months. So I was allowed to keep my toy.
Nice. So from that one gym in Singapore, you've now grown into a massive global business. So many. Tell us about that. Like, how did?
Yeah, we're not a massive business. We're still a very, very small business. And I think this is what you learn as an entrepreneur. You are a small business until you're not. Then you're a medium business until you're not. And hopefully between those two, you sell, right? We opened the first gym with some very clear goals to have a gym that was uniquely centered around what I like, because it's my gym, right?
Yeah.
And what I don't like, I just want it out of there. I love the fact that boxing is inclusive and it's for kids or women or old people or young people or middle-aged people going through various crises. I love the fact that the history of boxing has taken really underprivileged people and helped them in their lives. I love the fact that when you train with somebody in boxing, not fight, just train, even with pads, that you build a bond with somebody, and that community is amazing. On the other side of it, I don't like the fact that most gyms smell. I don't see why gyms have to be dirty, and I don't see why you can't have a nice shower that looks like a hotel shower that you can have a shower in afterwards. I don't like the fact that in most gyms you walk in and they'll look you up and down and just try and assess whether they can beat you up. I don't like the fact that because of the nature of that aggressiveness of a boxing gym, even the front desk tend to be a little bit more sort of cooler and aggressive, and don't like any of that. So the first gym just addressed all of that. It's clean, it doesn't smell, got great showers. We had a receptionist at the condo, Shoba, that used to live in or work at the condo we were living in. And I asked, she just used to remember my mates' names when they came over from the UK or from wherever.
Yeah.
And she was always smiling. And I was like, do you want to come work for us? And she was our first receptionist. So that when people came in, there was a smiling face. They remembered the name. Hey, how are you? How's your kids? How's this? How's that? We did kids classes. We did new mums classes. We did women only classes. We did everything right. And then what we also did was that we staggered our classes so that people, you know, kids classes, women's classes, beginner classes should never interact with an advanced class or a fighter training camp, because those two things are very different sports. You know, fighting as opposed to a kid learning how to punch a bag, right?
Yeah.
So we made sure our timetable flowed really well, and it resonated. And because it was in a community, I didn't need a lot to break even. And Singapore has a lot of communities, a lot of little cantons, you know. At the same time, one of my investments in Australia was doing okay, and so they asked me to move to Australia. So I moved to Sydney with the family. But I had a very early member, or it wasn't a member actually, it was a friend of a member, who was working at another gym, but his real job was he was a recruiter. His name's Russ, and he's our CEO. He's the Spartans CEO, Russ Harrison. And I said to him, what would it take for you to not be a recruiter and come and join Spartans? And he joined, initially sort of part-time and then full-time. And we grew the business from one gym to 4 gyms. And then COVID hit. We went from 4 gyms to 11 gyms in COVID.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because everybody left the CBD. So all the big box 40,000 square foot facilities that were in the CBD were empty. Nobody's in their offices, right? They're all at home. Right. And we were in their home. We were right there. We were in the community.
Yeah.
So then we worked with Enterprise Singapore, which is the government body that supports SMEs in Singapore, to start franchising. And we did that. So within COVID, we went from 4 to 11 gyms in COVID. I moved to Dubai after Sydney, opened the first gym here. Cambodia opened next, Philippines, Australia. Now we have 18 gyms open. We have 2 in build, one the next one in Manila and the next one in Melbourne. We have already one open in Melbourne and one open in Manila.
So when you say in build, what does that mean really? In
build.
Physically?
Building the gyms. They'll be open, you know, Q1, Q2 next year.
Right.
And then 10 more signed for in Vietnam, and we have 4 more signed here for the UAE as well. So all in all, we have 34 gyms in the process of becoming gyms.
So from 18, you're going to go to 34.
Well, inshallah, we'll go much higher than 34. But as in signed right now, we're at 34.
Brilliant. So there are a few things that I want to talk about from that global expansion and from a business perspective here. The first one is leadership hiring. I mean, you spot this friend of yours,
Russ.
Yeah. And you spotted him. You said, okay, this must be he is a good leader. And so what was that process like? What was going on in your mind when you...
I didn't know that. I knew that he was a good guy. He knew boxing. I knew that he had a real passion for boxing. I knew he had some entrepreneurial spirit because he already had a recruitment company. And I took a gamble on it, and it was, I think, a lot of the time, gut feel is right. I've made so many mistakes when I've gone against my gut feel. And my gut feel was good, and I was right. Now, listen, I know where I sit. My strengths sit in the life cycle and the life stages of a business. When Holiday Autos was sold to lastminute.com, and we're in now a PLC, and I can't swear anymore, and I can't wear jeans and a t-shirt. I knew I was out of my comfort zone. And then when it went to some private equity people in Dallas because of Travelocity, I was like, So I know the space I'm good at. I'm good at 0 to here. Somebody else has to be then very good to take it there, right? I've never got to that place because I've managed to exit at all the right times. And Russ has got us to where we are now and continues. But he will one day find out where his space is. He's nowhere near the limit of that or nowhere near the ceiling of that. And then at that time, both of us have to make a decision about the business, you know. So it was a really good hire. It was a really good move. I hope it's been the right move for him. He enjoys his job and he's doing a great job at it. And he's built a team around him as well. Right. So, yeah, look, a lot of it is, I want to say it's some genius thing. It's not. It's just gut feel and a bit of luck. And give them the freedom to make mistakes once, just once. Don't make the same mistake twice because then you have to go. But it's okay to make a mistake once. We all make mistakes. I've made more and more expensive mistakes than most people you'll have met.
And this model that you've built here, this is a franchise model that you've come up with, right? So you start a gym that you own in the first one you own in the country, and then you open up a franchise, right? And since you've done it in so many countries, can you tell us like what are the pros and cons and what are the challenges with that franchise model?
I mean, you have to find the right owners, franchise buyers, right? The first, obviously, we're learning. We've got better and better and better. The best model for us is a sort of owner-worker, right? Somebody who owns the franchise, but is also going to work in the business because there's a vested interest in it for them. If it's just some rich person that wants a plaything, we share revenue, so our income comes from them being successful. If they're not successful, we don't get any income. So it's in our interest to make sure that we get the right partners who grow the business so that we can then all share in the growth of that. We're local and we're hyper-local. So, and that took me back to my sort of living social go nabbit days. You can say that you're a boxing gym in Dubai and open up in Al Quoz, where I used to go, and you're local to Dubai. So if I live in Deira, I can come to Al Quoz, or if I live in Business Bay or Ebi Ranges, I can come to Al Quoz. It's a bit of a trip, especially with the traffic nowadays, but you might say you're local. But really you're not. Nobody lives in Al Quoz, right? So we're hyper-local. We are right in your community. So we sit in, the first gym was in Arjan. The next one it was in JLT. We're in Dubai Production City. We're in Dubai South.
Right
we are hyper-local. We are in the middle of where you live.
Right.
And therefore you will see us every day. So I don't want to miss out. Oh, we got one in Town Square. Town Square, great example. Right in the middle of Town Square there.
Yeah.
But what it means is that you then not only do you build relationships with your absolute community right there, but you also build relationships with the barber shop next door or the coffee shop 2 doors down or the car dealership across the road or whatever it is, because you're all in it for the same reason. You're all small businesses trying to be successful. So that hyper-locality is the same everywhere we go. So in Singapore, where it all started, we were Juchat right at the beginning, right, which is on the East Coast there. Then we're in this gym and these locations throughout the different little cantons within Singapore. In Manila, we're in the first gym opened in BGC, Bonifacio Global City. The next one's is in Quezon City. So these are little communities, once again, hyper-localized. Same in Melbourne. First one is in South Morang. The next one is going to be, I can't really announce it yet, but it's going to be in another local community. And that hyper-locality gives you so many benefits. It's easier to market, right? You just put some flyers out, right? You're right there. All you're going to get is 100 members. You're going to make some money. Yeah. And if you have a density of 50,000 people, you should get those members, right? So it's easier to market. You feel part of the community. You have better relationships with hopefully with your landlord, with your neighbors, with everyone around you, and you are really a community business. So local in Dubai no longer means I'm just in Dubai. It has to be hyper local, especially with the traffic we have in the city.
Yeah. You have to be in walking distance from people's houses.
Yeah, I mean, walk, bike, 5-minute drive.
Within that community, basically.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. There are so many such residential pockets, right? Those communities like Discovery Gardens. You got your Silicon Oasis and those kind of,
Come on, Sachin. I'm looking for someone in Silicon Oasis. Let's go. Maybe we should open a gym here. It's entrepreneurial move.
Yeah. When you look at growing internationally in each country, right? So what's your starting point? Like, how do you go? I'm asking this for those people who are watching this and they have their business, but they want to grow, become global, really. Okay, what's that starting point when you go to a new country?
You 100% need local knowledge. You can't do it remotely. You need someone on the ground who knows what they're talking about. So we opened in the east coast of Singapore. I was living on the east coast of Singapore. We opened in Dubai. As soon as I moved to Dubai, I know the cities. I know where I want to open. One of our early members and a guy who I used to box with when I was in Singapore is Filipino, and we had a conversation. He knows the Philippines. I used to have an office in BGC, so I knew exactly the area he's talking about.
Yeah.
Boom, we opened an office there. Russ is Australian, from Melbourne, knows exactly where to open an office there. So you get local knowledge, and therefore partner, if possible, with people locally. And the way we do it is we own the first gym, so it can act as a shop window, and then we grow our business on our other gyms, and eventually we sell that first gym.
Yeah,
we will fundamentally we're a franchise business now, not a gym owning business,
right?
And therefore, once it's done its job, like in Dubai now, we have 5 gyms. There's 5 showrooms. I don't have to own a showroom anymore, do I? I have 5 showrooms.
Right.
And therefore that other gym will.
And when you say you sell it, you convert that from
into a franchise.
Into a franchise.
Exactly. Somebody buys it and then they become a franchise owner.
Got it. And then you share revenue.
We have a revenue share model.
Got it. Brilliant. This is amazing. From starting a local community, a gym in a community, to building it.
I just want to go a little bit deeper into that as well, because I think the fundamentals of the business aren't just about the gym. Like if you look at it on a spreadsheet, it can be anything, right? A business is just a business. You have a product, it costs a certain amount to get you that product, or to manufacture, or to produce. You have a market. As long as you sell it for that and buy it for that bit in the middle, you know what I mean, right? Yeah, it's not brain surgery. But the thing about our business is that it changes people's lives. It started because it changed my life. Like my passion for boxing started because, I wouldn't be here if I didn't do it. Today I wouldn't be here, would I, right? I wouldn't be here some 16 years later had I not fallen in love with this sport. As soon as we got the opportunity to start helping other people, we did it. So for example, like I mentioned earlier, losing the weight in 2008 isn't, you just eat less than you work out, eat less calories than you burn. But addressing why you were overweight was the key. So we started our Spartans Mind program, where we support people through various programs or various packages to help lose weight, but understand why they were overweight. And this is with a real therapist, right? Get a therapist involved, as well as boxing and everything else. Get a therapist involved, right? And if you're a new mom wanting to get your body back, or you don't feel part of society anymore because you're just talking to a 2-month-old baby. If you're having problems at work, if you've got alcohol abuse, or you smoke too much, whatever it might be, we can help people. We've helped so many people through those processes in both mental health as well as physical health. And then going further from that, we have a future sales program in Singapore, where we work with the local police, take at-risk youths, maybe they've done a bit of shoplifting, or maybe they've bunking school or something, and we put them through a program, an 8-10 week program, where they work out in our gyms. They talk to a therapist. At the end of the whole program, they have a fight in front of their parents and their peers, and there's almost zero recidivism in all of those kids, and it's changed their lives, and it's changed their parents' lives. 100% it's changed their parents' lives. And here, we as soon as we opened up in Dubai, I wanted to kind of own that white collar space. The fight that I had in 2008, I wanted to own that space because it changed my life, and I wanted it to change other people's lives. So that was in 2000 and December 21. And so far we've had 7 events. These are big black tie events at the JW Marriott Marquis Hotel, 700 people, super posh 5-star meal, lights, the most unbelievable professional production you've ever seen. And we have our 8th coming up on the 7th of December next month. And the guys and girls who are fighting in that event have been training for the last 7 or 8 weeks, and their bodies have changed, their minds have changed, they're all a little bit nervy now. That's changed all, 8 events, 10 fights, 20 people, 160 people's lives changed from our business. 100% of them. You can speak to any one of the contestants we've had in any of our white-collar events. Their lives have changed for the better. And alongside that, we raise money we work here with Gulf for Good, which is a great charity. And on our events, we do it for a cause, and we raise a lot of money. We raised more than 250,000 dirhams last year alone for Gulf for Good, and we'll raise more this year. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a businessman, and I start, grow, sell businesses. So everything's always for sale. But until it's sold, this is the business I love. I really, really, really love this business. And honestly, I don't know if I could ever sell it all. I'll have to keep something, because it's the thing that has, without being overly emotional or dramatic, saved my life. So
it has, practically. This is really, really impressive, the way, and I think somewhere this is the whole thing about entrepreneurship in a way, right? Like we were just talking about entrepreneurship earlier, right?
Yeah.
That an entrepreneur doesn't just do it for themselves. You change as an entrepreneur. You change the society around you, and you have done that exactly. You've touched lives, impacted in a positive way.
Yeah, but we try to. Entrepreneurism is a lot of it is about risk taking. It's about your appetite for risk, and if you can, if you haven't lost sleep about whether you've got enough for payroll tomorrow morning, then I don't think you're a real entrepreneur yet. But some people can get through that night, and some people can't. And I think that's what drives successful entrepreneurs. And those same people fundamentally deep down understand human nature and understand that it's important not just to make money.
Yeah, it's beyond that.
It has to be. Otherwise, who are you?
What's your one advice for the late teens and the early 20s who are about to get into the real world and want to be entrepreneurs? So
yeah, I mean, look, first things first. Anybody, young, middle-aged, elderly, if it's an itch you needed to scratch, go and do it. Don't ever lay down at night in your 60s and 70s and 80s and think, I wish I had. Just go and do it, because the fear of failure is the only thing you've got to get over. It's okay to fail. Like I said earlier, I have failed so many times, so many more times than I've succeeded. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with failure. Nothing wrong with it. The most learning I've ever had is when I failed. So what I would say is give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go. And it might work, it might not work. I pray to God it works. But whatever happens, you'll learn from it. And the other thing is the opposite of that, which is it's okay not to want to be an entrepreneur. It's absolutely fine to want a steady salary and holidays every year and get a mortgage and, marry your childhood sweetheart. And that's an amazingly, fantastic mindset and thing to want. And 99% of the world want that because it's easy and it's fine and it's what human mentality drives you towards. It's only a few that want to put the added pressure of, maybe you don't have a salary this month on top. But it's absolutely fine to not want to do that.
I'm glad you said that, Naz, because I think, entrepreneurship is kind of over-glorified. But this has been a fantastic conversation. I'm really glad that you came on board. How was your experience being on the bureau?
That's great, man. It's great. It's a really easy chat. Who knows? Maybe somebody somewhere will listen and buy a Spartans franchise or just do their own thing, whatever it might be, or just have a go. Just have a go, you know.
Yeah.
I think our life experience drives us to wherever we are, you know, in whatever stage of life we are now, and you know, so far things are good. And I love Dubai. I'm very happy that Dubai is our base now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Naz. Thanks for sharing your journey and your words of wisdom with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was Naz Musa, the founder of Spartans Boxing Club, global entrepreneur, and you've been watching and listening to Be Your Own Boss.